The CBS and the SBA will fight to the end and lead the way. Yeah. Sing out together. Sky Blue Fans TV, for the fans, by the fans.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of Sky Blue Fans TV. My name's Mark Smith, and tonight, delighted to say, we'll be talking about the fantastic 2-1 victory against the Mackem Sunderland. Tonight, and in the second part of the show, part 2 of the show, we'll be joined by Ollie from Deep Dale Digest, Preston fan, to help to give us the lowdown, shall I say, on our next opponents on Tuesday night. Joining us tonight, I've got Mr. Ken Stewart once again. How are you doing, Ken?
Good evening, Mark. Yes,
yeah.
You all right? Yeah, all good.
Yeah, yeah, very good. Yeah, I was a bit twitchy about yesterday, but delighted.
Yeah, I think it puts us all in a good mood for the weekend, didn't it? When we got 3 points in the bag. I know it's so when you have an early kickoff, you got to wait for the other results to come in. But when you got them in the bag already, when you got 3 points, you're just happy, aren't you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was delighted, absolutely buzzing. I'm still buzzing now, as I'm sure everyone who's watching and listening are. So
yeah,
absolutely. Next guest from the Italian Sky Blues, the Leamington, I think, base, Claudio Cardellino. Claudio, buonasera.
Buonasera.
Is that right language?
From sunny Berkswell.
Yeah, I know. How are you doing? You right, Claudio? How are you doing?
I'm great. Yeah. I'm really happy after yesterday. So perfect weekend.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it, shall we? So let's talk about yesterday's game. So starting off, just unchanged side that was selected by Mark Robbins. I don't think there's any real surprise, was there, really, guys? I mean, bearing in mind we beat Rotherham the previous week, it was horse for courses the selection, wasn't it? Really? Any other comments to add?
Well, I was happy. Yeah, I was happy with the team. I mean, the problem was whether we're going to go 2 up front or 1 because we're at home. And I thought, well, he made the right decision in the end. He kept the same team and went with Vic on his own up front, and with Casey Palmer, who had an excellent game until he went off injured. And I thought it worked well. Yeah, and I thought it was a good decision in the end because I don't think probably Godden's not quite ready to start a game yet. Maybe he's a couple of games off, fitness wise, but he's certainly getting there. But yeah, I thought the team selection was spot on.
Yeah.
I think it was bang on. I think a couple of seasons, well, even 18 months ago, we'd have a grumble that he kept tinkering with the team at times. He was going 2 up front, 1 up front, and I think he did the right thing. And it's maybe trust the players a bit more now, because I think before it was all down to fitness, wasn't it? And he would always say, "I'm not sure if I can get so many games out of them," but they're certainly doing it at the minute. The last 3 performances have been spot on.
Yeah, they have. They certainly have, and so you can't moan about it really, because the work effort as well from all the players are tremendous. Because we didn't have a lot of the ball on Saturday, but we certainly when we did have it, we made it pay, and that's something they didn't.
Well, in the words of Funboy 3 and Bananarama, I think I posted this somewhere. It ain't what you do; it's the way that you do it. That's what
exactly. You don't score, you don't win, do you?
We played in matches where we've had 68, 70% of the ball and ended up losing, and we've grumbled about that. It's perfect counter-attacking football, and we're not boring though, are we? We're not just out and down and out, just defending and doing nothing with the ball, and we actually do try and get forward as well, which is I was entertained.
Yeah, it was an entertaining game, and it was a bit feisty at times, weren't it?
Yeah,
so yeah, it was good. It was good old throwback, as you say, from the good old days, and people getting stuck in. And there's a few tackles. Okay, we can talk about the referee again, probably will do later on, but he was a bit, he gave a bit and he didn't give some, and he did give some, so it's one of them, weren't it? It's potluck when he got the decision. Sometimes we probably got one in our favour, and other times we didn't. So
yeah. I thought first 15 minutes, I thought Sunderland were maybe the better side. I thought again we started a little bit slow. I mean, they hit the crossbar from a free kick. I think it was Danny Bath's header, and that almost, if anything, gave us a bit of a kick up the backside, because I thought after that, as the half grew on, we then got stronger and stronger, and when we had the ball, we were a lot more productive with it. I mean, the first goal, I thought typified that. But before we go into the goal, I thought Vic again led the line superbly on Saturday. But my only criticism of Vic is that he probably could have got more goals again. He could have had at least maybe even a hat trick. He missed 2 other good chances, didn't he? But nonetheless, I thought first half he gave Sunderland a real torrid time with his runs, and he had one really good run. He had about 2 or 3 players on him, and he sort of shot it wide from a sort of a wide angle. But I just thought when we passed the ball forward, we were crisp, and we looked good. We didn't just overhit a pass. We actually found players to feet, and the movement was good. And I thought that's something that really impressed me about that game, is how we looked dangerous in attack. And Sunderland couldn't cope, could they? Really? What your guys?
Yeah, they could. Yeah, go on. Sorry, go on.
I think it's when we after 15 minutes, then all of a sudden we started to press, didn't we? It's like, come on, let's have a go, lads. And as soon as Palmer was pressing and Jamie was pressing and Vic was trying to run them down, they were losing the ball. They were giving it away. They looked unsteady, and that's how you create a bit of pressure. I think there's been a few games, aren't there, where we sit back for 15 minutes and then we're sort of thinking, come on, boys, when's it going to start? And then we start pushing and look good after the first 15. And Victor, for his runs, he's like a modern day Cyril Regis. The way he's through.
I was about to say that's what
he did is reminiscence of Cyril Regis. That's the sort of thing he used to do.
What he reminded me of, just brushing defenders aside.
Yeah, exactly.
And getting into creating space. And it's just a shame he just, that time when he shot over the bar, just couldn't get the shot down. Would have been a fantastic goal. Yeah, and he did all the hard work, didn't he? Just get it on target.
But they, I know their fans were looking on their forums. They were saying how they've been starting slowly. So I thought, we're going to have a bit of a boring 0-0 because we tend to start slowly as well. But it was straight from the off, wasn't it? I mean, they had a go, then we started having to go back at them. And in the second half, I think it was a case of let them have the ball, basically.
But
apart from, I mean, Diallo's a good player for Sunderland, but I think Man United paid something like 30 million euros reportedly to Atalanta for him.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot, isn't it? And he had only played 4 games in Italy, which is incredible, really, that they've paid that sort of money for him. I mean, reportedly up to 40 million it's going to be.
Really?
But I mean, the way he took the goal, you could see there's quality there. But that's a different league, isn't it?
Well, how much would Vic be worth if we're talking that sort of figures?
Well, because somebody said that the Dortmund scout was there. And funny enough, before the game started, I said to my son, I said, really, if anybody comes in for him, you want somebody from the German league because they do like that kind of play. They do like the Vic kind of players. They're suited for the German league. And I said, jokingly, silly money. It'd be great if Dortmund came in 40 or 50 million, like Jude Bellingham, basically. And obviously, we'd have to take it, wouldn't we? But you're kind of hoping nobody will for another year, hopefully, if we can get him on a longer contract.
Got a few comments, Ken, do you want to read out?
Yeah, there's a few comments. Good evening, everyone. That's from Nation Radio. That's Tony, Nation Radio in Coventry. Good evening, Tony. Glenn from Sky Blue Hub. Evening all. Great win yesterday. Shows the possession didn't equal winning the games, which is right, or scoring goals. For us having a little of the ball, we create a lot of chances. Sunderland very average, and Mowbray. Well, we all know about Mowbray, don't we? About his teams because we've had him here. So he tends to start off well, doesn't he? And then fade off, if you like, come January, February, which he did with us. So it's very similar. Sky Blue Sam. Evening. Is the current team best Robbins has put together in his second spell here? Well, I think yes.
Yeah.
I think yes.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think defensively we look really secure about having Carl. I mean, obviously we've been saying it in previous shows, but Carl McFadden being back in the starting level is a massive plus for us. Because before him, we just looked a bit lost at the back and we lacked a bit of confidence. We were making a lot of unenforced errors. Whereas with Fads in the side, it's really it's given us that tightness, that security that we badly needed. So yeah, superb.
Another one from an underage Cov fan, and another on about the Dortmund scout here. Seen on social media that the Dortmund scout was at the CBS watching the game. Vic must have made a good impression on him. Well, I think he probably would have been very impressed. He probably knew about him anyway before he'd come along, but he certainly, every time he plays for us, he puts out a good impression, I think. So there's going to be a lot more of that, I think, as the season goes on. A lot more scouts coming to watch our games. So,
just want to go to the first goal. I mean, going on Gyökeres, we talk about his goals and skills, but he's also his assists. That was a great pass for Jamie Allen, and Jamie Allen, to be fair to him, I've been critical of him on previous podcasts, but that's his 7th goal this season. So, and he was at right place, right time, brilliant finish, and their keeper, Patterson, who I think is a really good goalkeeper, had absolutely no chance. So I just thought that first goal was just top quality, wasn't it? It was just a really good move. It was well done by McNullen to win that ball. I know some of the fans were groaning about it being a foul. I didn't think much of it personally. They all seemed to stop, and we just carried on. But Claudia, what was your thoughts on the first goal from what you saw of it?
Well, regarding the goal, I think had there been VAR, it might have got overturned because it was a bit of a robust challenge. But
yeah, I've seen them given them. I must admit.
But the guy he tackled, that Gerhard, which I think some of our fans were saying, "Oh, he'd be a good signing." He's not a patch on Vic on that performance. No. Absolutely nothing, nowhere near it. No, and I think we did a Christmas show. We did our best of most improved. And I think I did say at the time, I can't remember if I said best of or most improved. I gave it to Jamie Allen because I think he has. I mean, I know he's got people who, they say he runs around a lot and nothing else. But in most teams, you do need a player who runs around a lot in midfield. It's a closing down role, basically. And to get into the box again to score the goal, Vic to lay it off. Most reaction around the stand by us was, "Wow, Vic passed the ball," which is what we've been asking him to do. Because he gets in it. I mean, I would go 2 or 3 months ago, he'd have tried to shoot from there without a question. He wouldn't even bothered looking for a pass. And he's been doing it more regular now, and it makes him such a better player. He's a good player. You start passing the ball, bringing your teammates in it, you become a better player.
Yeah, I agree.
I
mean, we're all on about the midfield players have got to score more goals, haven't we? People like Heyman and Sheaf and that got to score. And Jamie Allen's stepping up to the plate. He's scoring goals. He's scored some important goals for us in the last few games, and it's all about being in the right place at the right time, timing your run. And you're right, Big Vic, fantastic cutback from him. So he does play. He's part in assisting for goals as well. So he's just getting better every time we see him play. I think Big Vic, he's still learning the game, obviously, but he's just getting better every time we see him. I think
my only slight fear is he's such an important player to our team that I just don't want him injured. I don't want anything to happen to him, because if he gets injured, in my opinion, that goes our playoff chances, because he's such an important player for us. We just don't have anyone else who can do what he can do. Not just with goals, but his all-round play. We just don't have anyone like that. And he's like a massive upgrade on Max Bjarman. And Bjarman, to be fair, was a really good player, back in League One. But you feel that Gyökeres is a massive upgrade, and I just hope we can keep him fit. That's the only thing I would say. But he's probably been in my opinion, player of the season this year so far.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Regarding the defence, it's interesting because, we do allow teams to sling balls into our box quite a lot. And I think that you get the feeling around where I'm sitting, people going, "Oh, no, don't let them cross another ball in." But we've got 15 clean sheets, which is amazing. I think I've looked and I saw that was the first time we've actually conceded a goal and we've won a game.
It's amazing.
It's an incredible stat, that is, this season. We're 3 away from a club record, all-time club record, and Ben Wilson the same. And this is a keeper who, at times people have claimed he's a bit dodgy, but the record's there, isn't it? It's brilliant, really. And somehow, obviously it's improved in the last 3 games since Fad's just come back again. But it says a lot. You know, keeping those. I mean, you hear Oggy on the radio saying, you know, if you keep the clean sheet, you've got a chance of winning, haven't you? It's as simple as that, really. And it's proved it with the games you have won. Excellent.
Yeah. If you don't concede, you've got a great chance of winning the game, haven't you? You know, and I think Ben Wilson. I know he's had a bit of stick as well. Obviously, Simon Moore, who was tremendous for us last year, to be honest. Got to remember that he was brilliant for us last year, and he's had a dip in form. And Ben Wilson's come in and took his chance.
I think with keepers, it's an awkward position as the sub keeper because you don't get any minutes, do you?
No, you don't.
I mean, it makes you wonder whether or not they should play them in the under-23s to give them match time because they just don't play. It's not like you can come on for 5 minutes. You don't get a chance.
You remember the old days when we used to have like reserve matches, didn't we?
Exactly.
And we haven't got any of that now. So the only times you can play them is under 23 games, and you know it's not always possible to do that. Obviously, because they've got a good. If you've got young keepers, you want to come through, you need to play them. So it's just one of those situations where you know your keeper's not going to be playing that much unless you got a good run in the cup and you play him in the cup matches and keep the other keeper for the league games. That's the only time that you get around that, but we tend to go out the cup competitions quite early, so we don't have an opportunity to do it.
I think on Wilson, I think he didn't have much to do yesterday, but what he did do second half, he made one really good save from Giallo on that near post. And I was a bit, I don't know, second half I was a bit nervous about it because I felt we missed a couple of good chances first half to extend that lead, and I was thinking, really hope we can keep it tight, at least particularly first 20 odd minutes. But for Sunderland, I thought we just sat back and let Sunderland come at us a little bit. I thought, which wasn't massively happy about. But Wilson, I thought, as I say, he made one really good save, and I think it was Giallo, left foot shot near post. And I think to be fair to Wilson, I think he is. I still don't think he's a fantastic keeper, but his record speaks itself. You know, him in defence have done a really good job, and you can't knock that. So. Yeah, I mean, I think at the moment, I think Simon Moore for me, I think his time at the club is done. I don't know what your thoughts are. I don't. He's going to be. I think he's out of contract after this season, so I don't think he'll be coming back.
Well, he'll want to play first team football, won't he? That's his problem. Is he happy to sit on the bench? I don't know. I mean, he's okay to have as a reserve coming on. I'll be happy with that. But at the moment, in my mind, I think Ben Wilson is the number one, and it's difficult because Simon Moore had been good for us in the past, but he's just had a wretched bit of form this season, hasn't he? Things haven't gone well for him. But all keepers, see, with a goalkeeper, you make a mistake, you're in the spotlight straight away, aren't you? If you're a player, you get away with it and people forget about it after a couple of matches. But a keeper, it normally leads to, if you make a mistake, it normally leads to a goal, doesn't it? And that's what people remember. Unfortunately, you lose them the game because you've parried the ball in the net or made a horrific error. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, well, if he needs to move on, he needs to move on. We that's one of them things. That's one of the decisions Robin needs to make, along with a lot of in the summer. Yeah.
I know you said you're nervous, Mark, the second half, but I've got a friend of mine who actually supports Liverpool. He watches all our games because of me, basically. So he's watching on IPTV. And I always say to him, what do you reckon to that? And he goes, I was quite nervous second half and it was still 1-0, you know. And he goes, you look quite comfortable. I think it did me. Yeah. He says, as a neutral, they never looked like they were going to score. And I must admit, when I've watched other games where it's not my team playing and someone's going, what do you think? I'm going, they never look like scoring, you know. And that's what he thought yesterday with Sunderland. He said, no matter what they put into the box, it never seemed to threaten you, really. There was a couple of ricochets, but and apart from the one that hit the bar, that was it.
Yeah, I think they missed Ross Stewart badly at centre forward, because I think if he's playing that game, well, he wasn't playing, he wasn't fit. It's kind of an irrelevant thing to say, but you know, I suppose you could say they didn't have a player like a Gyökeres up front. I think that was the comments that Mowbray was making post match about if we had Victor Gyökeres up front, then you know we would have won. But it's like me saying, if I got 3 more numbers in the lottery, I'd be a millionaire. You know, you didn't get numbers, you didn't have up front. It's off the game. You know, so it's a bit of it's a bit of a dig at Gelhardt, really. If I was listening to my manager and he's saying stuff like that, I wouldn't be very happy about that. I don't know.
No.
Just thought it was a bit strange, really. But got any more comments, Ken, from our audience? I think we've got a few more comments.
Yes, a couple more comments coming in. Evening, all looking forward to the show from Robert. Mick Davenport, evening. Any pop from Chris left, Ken? Well, we'll come to that. No, there isn't, unfortunately, Glenn. It went very well, actually. The sponsorship of the Family Zone. We'll talk about that in a bit. Evening, all, Covandi. Can you recall Robbins ever celebrating a goal like he did? Alan's first goal yesterday. Yes, he did, didn't he? If you remember, he had like his hand in the air like that, didn't he? He was going mad, wasn't he, when that goal went in?
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like a plan worked. It's like he says, I want him to get into the box. He got in the box. He scored. It actually worked. That's what it looked like to me. So yes, it's plans happened. It's come. They've done what it's supposed to do. Because he was banging on about it last week, saying he keeps telling James to get into that box, and he's getting goals, isn't he? It's brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant, absolutely superb. I think he enjoyed it. It was so important, I think, to get the 3 points, against them on Saturday, because everybody was up for the game. I thought it's an early kick-off, and I said it's always nice to get the 3 points in the bag before the rest of them kick off, isn't it? At 3 o'clock.
Yeah,
they've
not been in Coventry since 1985.
Yeah, that's right. It's funny
because I do like my stats. You probably know that, and I find that you look at certain clubs, and you actually think that's the one that surprised me, because you think Sunderland, obviously, that they were in the top flight for I think 68 years in one go, basically.
Yeah, they had a good squad.
Playing for years, but they. The sort of club you think, surely they've got a better record against us than we have against them. But no, we've got a better record against Sunderland than they have against us, which is quite remarkable. And some of their fans were saying, I've never, ever seen us win in Coventry. Thinking, it's balmy, isn't it? Just balmy.
Yeah.
But one may it continue. Well, hopefully we won't be playing them next season anyway. We'll be in the league above.
Yeah, all going well. Well, you never know. We might have to play them again in the playoffs if it carries on the way it is. They pick a few more results up.
Going on the 2 games, we'll win, because we should have won up there, if you remember.
Well, we should have.
Robin missed a sitter.
Yeah, we should have. No doubt
we should have won up there.
I think Pans hit the bar as well, the header from one first game of the season.
Yeah, he did. He did.
And then, obviously, going back to the game itself, second half, that goal from Gyökeres, I have to say, Matty Godden came on, fantastic play, got to the wide right and picked out a great cross, and Gyökeres managed to get in front of the defender and slid it in. And obviously that was it was pretty much game over. I know they scored, but it was game over. And I think that kind of bodes well a bit for the next game, because obviously Palmer now likely to be out for a while. Hamstring injury, I believe, is what the problem is with Palmer.
Yeah,
you would think Godden will now get his chance as the second striker. Would that be a fair assessment?
Do you think he might give Maguire a go, maybe in that position? I don't know.
I don't think so, because what's he done to earn his right into the team?
We haven't seen him in training, but
Godden's come on. He's just created a goal. Why would you not start him next game? That's my
if you
don't just start players. You got to earn the right to be in the team. You can't just walk into the team.
Start him by all means. But what I'm saying is, if he does start him, he's got to change his tactics, hasn't he? If you're playing 2 up front, you're losing a midfield player, then, aren't you? If you're playing the 2.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because Palmer's been great at closing down.
Yes.
And stuff. Yeah. And, that's not Matty's game, is it, at all? So it's could he play him as a floating second striker, which I'm not sure that the other lads in midfield are going to cope. Well, they might cope. Hamer and Eccles probably playing as a two-man wall in front of our back 3 or something. The thing is with Matty, you got somebody who's obviously going to score goals, and that's a plus as well, because Palmer's got good ability, but his finishing is nowhere near as good as Matty Godden's. The record's there, you can see. So he, I like Matty Godden anyway, and I'd like to see Matty Godden and Victor play together more often, really, because I think as a twin, they could actually work.
Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. Because Palmer, by the way, will be a big blow to us because he's been fantastic over the last few matches. He's just getting better. He's another player. He's getting better every game he plays. And it's just a bit of a blow that he went off injured. He didn't want to go off, did he, yesterday? No. He went off, come back on, and you had the Sunderland fans moaning that he was going down deliberately, but he obviously wasn't. He was injured. And him being out for a couple, well, we don't know how long, but hopefully it's not too long. But yeah, it's a bit of a blow for us. So we might have to tweak it tactically on Tuesday night against Preston. So we might have to do that, or he might go with the two up front, which will be very ambitious away from home. But why not? If we're confident and play that way.
Unfortunate about his injury, but it almost came at a good time for us because they were getting a bit of momentum, Sunderland at the time, and he went down the first time, which broke it up. And then again, he did it straight away, well, about 2 or 3 minutes later. And I was kind of thinking, just take your time, just kill the game a bit. And I think that helped us, really. He wasn't going to sit down, was he? It was like even the
he wasn't.
Players were telling him to lie down.
The players were going, sit down, weren't they?
Yeah.
But I agree. It's going to be a big loss to us, Palmer, because he's been playing well. But it's just another add one to the injury list, isn't it? We've had a horrendous luck with injuries this season, haven't we? We've been pretty lucky over the last couple of years, but this season has been awful, really. People being out injured.
I think what the only thing I would add about the second goal, and a few people have been commenting on it, is the pass from Gustavo Hamer that released Matty Godden on the right.
Yeah, and
his vision is sublime again. I thought Hamer again, another sublime game. He was fantastic. Again, for me, Hamer has got to probably be up there player of the season as well, probably pushing a bit. But what I like about Hamer since he's had like the 2 reds this season is it's not just his play going forward, but defensively he's good as well. He puts in tackles. He put a couple of meaty tackles in yesterday, which were required. And to me, he's the sort of guy you want in the trenches, isn't he, Hamer? He's a brilliant player, isn't he?
He got us going in the first half. When Gyökeres was definitely pulled and pushed over, and you could see Hamer got really angry and put in a hell of a tackle, and the crowd got behind it. And next thing you know, for 10 minutes, we're putting the pressure on it, and that's what led up to the goal eventually. But do you remember the meeting at Tottenham where he said we're asked about his discipline record, and said that he's been working with AD to get in a better position to make a tackle. Work.
You're right. Yeah.
He said work that bit harder to get in the right place to make the tackle instead of trying to do it from 2 yards behind, which is what he's been doing.
Yeah.
And he's still putting the tackles in. But you're right, Mark, and the pass was super.
Yeah, he is.
Even Coffey before that, he won the ball well, pulled it inside.
Yeah, I was about to say, Coffey did well, didn't
he?
Coffey did well to get hold of the ball and
it was a great team goal.
Run with it and then pass it to Hamer, who hit it first time. Yeah, it was good. Good all round team goal. Excellent. I just got a couple more comments, Mark. Top result against the Macklins, 1-1 draw Tuesday night at Preston, and 2-0 Cobb winning at Huddersfield next weekend will be great, says Kyle. Yeah, let's hope so, Kyle. Was the ref that bad? As Sunderland have moaned all over social media about him. Personally, I think I thought the ref had he's not been the worst ref we've had this season, but I thought he was very inconsistent at some of the decisions he made. We're going to beat Preston 1-0. Gyökeres with another goal, says Mick Davenport. Underage Cov fan, cheer up Tony Mowbray. If he had a winning lottery numbers, I'd be a millionaire. Yeah, you're right. He never had the nerves to sign a big Vic. Yeah, you're probably right there. Paul Hughes, good evening, Paul. Even though great result. Worry about Palmer's injury. Yes, we've just been chatting about that. I was at the Bristol 2-2 game, so always love a win over Sunderland. Oh, God, you're going back a few years there. I don't know if Claudia was at that game. Were you there, Claudia?
Yeah, I was 12.
That 2-2 Bristol?
I was 12.
Oh, were you there, were you?
Yeah, of course.
I wasn't there.
Because I was 5. But the thing I remember about that game, I mean, I've written about it in the past, was that I didn't realise at the time how significant it was that result was flashed up. It wasn't until afterwards that we kind of realised what was really going on. And it was only the last 5 minutes and basically Bristol were telling holding the ball, and then those days you could pass it back to the keeper, and they just kept passing it back to the keeper because they were safe.
Yeah.
Bristol was safe, and I know we were as well,
Yeah.
but they didn't want us to score because it could have made things a bit awkward. So they were keeping the ball as well.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't there, but I've heard all about it. But and I've seen some pictures of the game. But yeah, I would have loved to have been there. But yeah, it's just it's just one of them things, Sunderland, weren't it? Got to get on with it. But they obviously got a gripe all them years gone by. They still hold a bit of grudge, don't they? Robert, we play a little like Man United in the 90s sometimes, attacking counter. Yeah, I know what you're saying. From the old Fergie days, they sort of played that way a little bit, didn't they? And then Glenn's come back on. We play like a mix of Leicester City title winning side, but similarities between Luton and Huddersfield from last season. Huddersfield kept 20 clean sheets, and that got them into the top 6. Yeah, well, you're probably quite right there.
Leicester won the Premier League with 29% possession or something, or 30%. That's when they won the Premier League over the season.
Yeah, you're right. They did. Yeah.
I think
Mick Davenport. Just a couple more before we bring in the Preston fan who's waiting in the background, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mick Davenport. The Maccombs were all crying today on YouTube, moaning about the ref and that first goal being allowed. Now, I don't think the ref weren't. I mean, what do you think about the ref on Saturday, Claudio?
He's no worse, no better than what we've had all season. What frustrates me is when there were some meaty tackles went in, and a couple probably could have had bookings, and then somebody does a little tug on the shirt and he falls over theatrically, and the player gets booked, and you think, and that's a cheap booking, isn't it? It's like a nothing tackle gets booked, and one's like you think, that should have been a booking. It's almost like they see things we don't see, but they don't see the things we see, which seem really obvious from the stands. But maybe that's the difference because you're high up and you're watching it at a different level. But he wasn't that bad. I mean, I must admit, when McNally put that tackle in, which put Gerhardt up in the air, and then the ball, he could have landed and he hit him again, didn't he, basically? I just thought, he got away with that. Everybody stopped, didn't they? Even we stopped. Our
they did.
Well,
sometimes you get them. Sometimes you get them decisions. Sometimes you don't. And I've seen them not given, but I've on the other way, I've seen them given as well. So, it's just one of them. We all know, you've got to play to the whistle, haven't you? You don't just stop. You've got to play to the whistle. Just a couple more. Good shout there. Glenn says Robert, and Jimmy Hill Scarborough Army says Assassin Engine Night. Okay, I think we're going to bring in the Preston fan now.
Let's go to a break, and then we'll bring him on. So
do you want to have the break now? Yeah.
Yeah, a quick break, and we'll bring Ollie on after. Yeah.
Okay, we'll have the short break, and we'll be back very shortly.
Welcome back to the show. I'm going to bring in Ollie from Deepdale Digest. Let's add him on now. Evening, Ollie. How you doing?
Hiya, how are you all?
Yeah, welcome back.
Good evening, Ollie.
Evening.
We'll start talking about Preston, our next opponents. One win the last 6 games, Ollie. How's Preston been playing overall?
It's a really weird time at the moment. Ryan Lowe isn't very happy with the fan base pretty much at this point. Even though we won on Saturday, he came out after the game and said he's disappointed with what's going on around the club in terms of fans booing at half-time and generally not being happy with his regime at the moment. It's largely stemmed from the fact that Lowe keeps talking about how we play such great football and what a brand of football he's brought to the club, but the performances we're seeing is nothing close to that. So there's just this big disconnect between Lowe thinking we're really good and the fans not seeing that on the pitch at all.
Yeah, I saw the game against Wigan. I saw the highlights. I said the Wigan match yesterday, and Wigan scored first through an own goal from Greg Cunningham, and I saw the penalty that you got. I've got to admit, I didn't think that was a penalty in a month of Sundays. I thought it was a very, very soft decision. Was you of that same opinion watching that game yesterday?
Yeah, especially the angle from sort of behind the goal. It didn't look anything like a penalty to me. So it almost feels sorry for Wigan on that front, but it is a kind of local rivalry, so it only goes so far.
Yeah, can't feel too sorry for them too much. Looking ahead to the game on Tuesday night, a couple of suspensions. I think you had one sent off yesterday as well. And I think there's another guy. I can't remember his name. I think he's Doncaster who got sent off a couple of games ago, still suspended. Is that right?
Yeah, Ben Whiteman got a red
yeah.
card against Luton Town. So if that's a 3-game, which I think it was, then I think this would be his last game suspended. Robbie Brady got a red card on Saturday, even though he only came on as a substitute. So not sure how he managed that. But Ched Evans will be back from suspension, I think, because he's served a 4-game ban.
And that's a big plus having Ched Evans back, because obviously I think he's your top goal scorer this season. I think he's got 7 goals, I think. But he's a type of striker who is always a bit like, I guess, your version of Gyökeres. He's always a thorn. He's quite a physical striker, and he's always in defenders' faces. That's a big plus for Preston, isn't it? Getting Ched Evans back in the team. How's he been looking overall this season?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a weird one because he almost went a year without a goal. I think he was only a couple of weeks out from going a full 365 days without a goal. Then I think he got one away at Reading, and then since then it's that old thing of a striker just needs one to go in, and then all of a sudden they all start flying in.
Yeah.
For the first couple of months of the season, I thought sort of athletically he'd taken a bit of a step back, and he was maybe starting to show his age, and that it was maybe coming to an end. But he's had such a strong period since sort of late October, early November, that he's now earned another year on his contract, and he does sort of set the tone for us a little bit with sort of, like you say, that style up front. Not 100% sure if he'll start though, because Troy Parrott and Tom Cannon played pretty well together on Saturday up front. So a couple of options for Lowe against Coventry. I'd imagine he'll stick with what he had on Saturday, but yeah, Evans coming back just gives them that other dimension if they need it.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably well documented that Preston is a team that we never ever seem to get a result against. Do you feel confident leading up to this game on Tuesday night?
Absolutely not. Our home form has been absolutely horrendous recently. Before getting a point against Luton and then beating Wigan, I think we'd lost 5 home league games in a row, and that's a big thing where the away form's been good, but when most of the fan base is seeing the home games and all they're seeing is defeats, it just builds up that pressure on the manager. So it's just another thing where, like I said before, there's this disconnect with Lowe and the home form against the away form, and we're a really weird side to sort of analyse at the moment, because on the face of it, Preston being 12th isn't a disgrace by any stretch of the imagination when you think about our budget, but the atmosphere is just really negative at the moment, and I think if Coventry can, go ahead, you've got every chance.
Why is it negative? Is it just the style of football, or the players is picking, or a bit of both, or what do you put it down to?
I think the style of play is a big thing in terms of, like I say, Lowe seems to think it's this sort of Barcelona under Pep Guardiola style football, and the fans are watching it thinking we're nowhere near. Like he sort of said the second half against Luton was fantastic, but we should have been 4-0 down. We got a penalty to sort of scab a draw and gave it a go with 10 men. But everyone's like, where's he getting fantastic from? There's just this weird disconnect between what we're seeing and what he's saying. And I think when you're hearing that again and again, it just sort of grates on the fan base a little bit. There's been a lot of concern about the sort of long-term picture of the club. Because Trevor Hemmings, the sort of long-time owner, died last season. And then the club is seemingly up for sale, but the only like concrete interest we had was Chris Kirchner, who you may have read about from
Derby County, I think.
Derby County escapades. So yeah, the whole thing at the moment is just a little bit. It could turn toxic pretty quickly. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
The,
Well, we know things to do about bad owners, so unfortunately that's the state of football.
Yeah, certainly do.
At the start of the season, you rarely conceded a goal, didn't you? You had a mad run, didn't you? Is that right from memory?
Yeah, I think it was the first 7 games of the season we didn't concede a goal.
Yeah. So what's happened from then? What's changed? Obviously, you weren't letting in goals. Are you now conceding a lot of goals?
Yeah. We've gone quite a while without keeping a clean sheet, I think, until I think it might have been last weekend was the first one we kept for a while.
Right.
I think that run at the start of the season, there was an element of luck to it in some ways, because, for instance, we drew 0-0 with Watford, but they missed like 3 1-on-1s. So it's one of those where the overall record looks pretty good, but on another day, it could have gone completely differently.
So you're fully aware that we've never ever won at your place.
Don't tell him that. Don't tell him that. It's not good.
I know. I think we won a cup game we've not won the league. I think we won a cup game in 1910 or 12 or something ridiculous, which is just crazy.
There's one I feel like I always bring up when I come on this show, but it's when Frank Musa just slammed one into the top corner in injury time against us in the League One days.
Yeah.
And it felt like a defeat. So
yeah. So, tactically, formation-wise, sort of Preston usually sort of play 3-4-1-2. Is that a formation you'd probably likely select for this game on Tuesday?
Yeah, Lowe doesn't really tend to veer away from sort of a variation of 3-5-2, or sometimes it's 2 attacking midfielders behind a striker. That's another thing where people have been a little bit up in arms, because Lowe, even going back to Bury and Plymouth, he's always been committed to playing 3-5-2 and playing wing backs, but we don't have like a recognised right wing back in the squad. He's always playing a midfielder there because we just seemingly go through transfer windows without signing anybody. So there's just annoyance that we brought in a manager who is completely committed to playing 3-5-2, and then we can't seem to recruit for that formation at all.
Yeah. Got a question. Well, I've got a question actually about a signing we've got who actually came from Preston, Sean Maguire. What was your thoughts on him during his time at Preston? Was he someone who impressed you, or Preston faithful?
First season, he was really good. I think he mostly played on the left wing at the start. Then after we sold Jordan Hugill, he played as a striker. He had a pretty bad hamstring injury, if I remember rightly. Came back and was banging them in. Then he had another hamstring injury that pre-season. It was quite a big one. And I think over the years that he kind of lost that yard of pace a little bit. Always thought he was a hard worker. It was a bit of a weird partnership where even though Emile Reese was like the bigger striker, Maguire would be the one doing sort of all the dirty work, and he was quite good in the air for his size and just a good foil for Emile Reese, but the goals just weren't coming at all. I'm sure you'll have looked at his goal record when you signed him and thought, what's going on here? Yeah, I think it was probably best for him to move on. I think his contract was coming up at the end of the season. Can't imagine he'd have got another one. But a Coventry mate of mine said he's not been playing so much.
Played 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, very rarely come on. It's maybe like a few. I think West Brom he had a few more minutes, but I think he came on. I want to say Luton at home, maybe about 2 minutes, something like that. But yeah, he hasn't really featured that much. I think Ken. I think there's a question from Glenn about Maguire. If you scroll down.
Yeah, I'll just start at the top. I've got a few questions to come through. Yeah.
Go on.
You read it out there, Mark, if you can find it, because I can't see it.
Yeah, so Glenn was asking about if Maguire was started against Preston, would that worry Preston fans?
Oh, yeah.
I think probably, but to the extent where you always fear that a striker you've just let go is going to come back and haunt you in the first game back. One of those where, like I say, I think his time with us had come to an end. But like you just fear that they will end up scoring as soon as they play against you when they struggled for goals with you. It's just, how many times have we seen that in football?
Yeah, no, but it's happened to us many times. Hopefully we'll all be on the other foot, of course. Let's look at the commentary angle. So I'll bring Ken back in. So obviously, Casey Palmer, as we spoke earlier, is probably not going to be able to play this game with a hamstring injury. That's one for all to be made aware of. Any changes? I mean, obviously that'll be one change. Who do you think will come in for him?
Well, I think possibly that's got to be Godden. I think if he's not trusting Maguire, obviously at the moment he's going to play Godden, hasn't he? I think he's going to go for two up front. It's going to be away from home, which is unusual in playing two up front. We'd have to change our tactics slightly, but yeah, it's got to be Godden. I think whether Godden can last the whole 90 minutes, is yet to be seen, isn't it? Because he's only just come back from a bad injury. So yeah, I'll probably start him and see how he goes. If he gets tired, maybe make a change, for the last 15, 20 minutes and make a change. But yeah, if it was me, I'd probably go for Godden, to be fair. And we just got to go for the win there, haven't we? We've got to go for the win. So we haven't never won there. We haven't got a very good record at all, appalling record really against Preston. So we need to get the points, and go for it. So they're not in good form. So yeah, let's go for it and play two up front. Why not?
Claudio, what's your view?
Yeah, it's either that or 4-4-2, and 4-4-2 is never going to happen.
No,
with Mark Robbins, is it? So
no.
I think, play Matty in there, probably a bit deeper. Basically, let Vic do his thing, and he can join him as a second striker.
Yeah,
I mean, it can work. It's worked in the past. It's like Ken said, up until now, Preston have been struggling slightly, but it's strange, isn't it? Because I mean, I don't know what you think, Ollie. Obviously, your fans aren't happy, but you're only 3 points behind us, and we think we're doing brilliantly. So it's really strange how supporters see their own clubs at times. Because when I was coming on tonight, I thought I'd just have a look at the league table, and I thought, oh, actually, they're not struggling that badly at all. I don't know what you think to that.
Yeah, looking at the league table, I'd say 12th is a completely reasonable place for North End to be. Like, the Championship's kind of become that league of haves and have-nots in terms of parachute payments and all that. So when you're a club that hasn't been there, you're always kind of fighting against the bigger sides in the division. So yeah, 12th is fine. I think it just comes down to that style of play.
Yeah.
I think fans are kind of looking for a bit of maybe humility from Lowe almost, where it's like when we play poorly, it's almost like you can't just say, yeah, we played poorly, my bad. It's always sort of like, oh, well, we were actually really good, but we know that we weren't. It's a really weird situation. I can't remember ever seeing this with a Preston manager where it's almost like every interview he does, the fans are just on it, just picking out things that they don't agree with or things that they think are disingenuous. And it's almost the only comparison I can make in that regard is Graham Wesley, where the fans weren't having him.
It's strange because with Mark Robbins, I always find that when he gives an interview, you just think, God, he's never over the top if we lose, and he's not over the top when we win. It's very straight. It's a matter of fact. this is how it is, and he, I mean, the praise he's given the fans at the minute is ridiculous. It's every interview he mentions the fans, which I've not heard that from any other manager we've ever had, probably since the days of '87 with Sinnott and Curtis. Yeah, and it makes a difference, doesn't it? If your manager's having a go at the fans, I mean, he did once this season say, almost like as he was saying, "Come on, girls and boys, just get behind the team. It's been a rough season with all the problems, and we've had 3 wins in a row since then, so it helps, doesn't it?"
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, we just had a question. We got a comment from Kyle. Mark Robins should give Maguire a chance on Tuesday night against his former club. Give Palmer a rest. Well, I don't think you think Palmer will be playing anyway. Just hope his injury isn't too serious. He comes back fitter and stronger. Yeah, quite agree. Will we? Do you think, Mark, that we should start Maguire, or would you go for what would you do?
I think he'll probably go one up front. The option he could do is Wilson Esbrand comes into the team as like the attacking 10 on the left-hand side, with Jamie Allen in a supporting position with Gyökeres up front. He could go Matty Godden as the second striker. I think he'll probably go one up front, but I wouldn't be against Matty Godden starting either, because I think Godden, I'd like to see us get on the front foot against Preston. I mean, Ollie's made it clear that they're a team that are lacking in confidence at the moment. And we've got to take advantage of that, being the away side. We've won, 4 away games this season. And, we won 3 on the trot. We should come into this game with plenty of confidence. So I think it would be a bold move to go 2 up front. I personally would go Wilson Esbrand as the second number 10. And he's got a bit of pace and trickery. So that's what I would possibly do. But, I don't necessarily think Robins will go that approach. But if I'm Mark Robins, that's what I would do.
Mark Cunningham says, not sure if Godden has got 90 minutes in it. I have my doubts whether he has, to be honest. Not quite yet anyway, because he hasn't started a game and lasted 90 minutes for quite a while. So it'd be interesting to see if he does go with him or not. Steve Adams said, I wouldn't go 2 up top from the start v Preston, simply because I think we're away from home. More mix-ups. Godden ahead of Maguire all day long. So, Covandi, is Matty fit for them 90 minutes? Well, that's the question we're asking. Is he?
I think Mark Robins said on Saturday, he said that he brought Esbrand on because I don't think he wanted to risk Matty more than 20 minutes. And then they made the change and he came on for the last 15, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Because we kind of thought when the substitution was being made, we thought, Godden's coming on, and he didn't come on. So, I mean, your shout, Mark, with Jamie Allen playing in that role, that might be a better shout, actually.
I just think with Wilson Esbrand, he's got pace. I think he's a better player going forward than he is defensively. I've not seen a great deal of him, but from the games I have seen him, I think that's a tactic. I mean, it's almost like a Maatsen, almost like a replacement for Ian Maatsen, really, isn't he, Wilson Esbrand? So that's what I would do. I think you want someone who can get the ball and run up Preston and win free kicks and things like that, and help out Gyökeres. So that's an option for me.
Ollie, can I ask you a question about your club in general? I mean, historically, Preston are, one of the forerunners, obviously, with the 1888 and the double and all that, and but you were relegated, am I right in saying 1961 from the top flight? And you've not played top flight football since then, basically. So where do you see yourself as a club? Because that must be, I mean, the reason we didn't play for 50 odd years, I think, because we were always in different divisions. So how do fans see the club? Do you feel like you should have the chance to be in that, Premier League, basically, with the history of the club?
I think everyone's kind of hurt because Blackburn were obviously up there for a long time, won the Premier League and whatever. Burnley have been up a number of times. Even Blackpool got there once, and we still haven't managed it. And I think it's just that thing, if you watch all your rivals go there and experience it, even if in Blackpool's case it was just for 1 year. But like when I first started going on Preston, we barely played Blackpool for God knows how long because we were always a division or two above them. So to
Yeah.
then see them bypass us and get there was just, I still think there's just that thing where people probably still aren't really over it because we don't even look close to getting there. I think there's a perception that the club are probably just happy being a mid-table championship club because even when there has been those times where we're kind of around the playoff places or sometimes in them, they never just take that extra leap in the transfer market to say, "Go on, we'll have a right go at this time." So it would be nice to see us up there, but I just don't see how it happens at the moment.
Yeah, it'd be a hell of a story, wouldn't it? Really. It's,
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think it would make us quite appealing to somebody trying to buy a football club, to be honest, because like Preston, one of the most historic clubs in the country, and trying to get the club back into the top division would be pretty incredible. But it costs so much to keep us going. I think the Hemmings family, I think it's like 12 million a year they're putting in to keep us going, and it's just even from a base point of putting that much in a year, it's just such a big price that I don't really know where we go from here, to be honest.
Yeah, because I think we played you in the mid-60s, obviously when we went up the leagues, and you were then starting to go down the leagues basically. And it's about a year or so ago, I just thought, I'm going to have a look at this. I thought, I can't believe they're not played in the top flight since 1961. It's just incredible. You never know. You'd like to think it's going to happen at some stage, wouldn't you?
You'd like to think so. Like we've been to a few championship like playoff finals, like got beat by Bolton and West Ham, and we've been in semi-finals and stuff. But yeah, we just never quite seem to get over the finish line, so to speak. We seemingly just need to stumble upon another Tom Finney and hope for the best.
And Bill Shankly.
Yeah.
You got. I mean, the other thing as well. I mean, you have got a magnificent platform. The train station is a magnificent train station. So no, we've gone to Blackpool. We stop at Preston. I remember that, and I thought this is quite impressive.
Yeah. But better than the giant bus station, anyway.
Yeah.
I've got a question here from Ken Otomo on our chat about. Would ask you a question only about what's your view of the commentary players from the fans that you've heard about that make you nervous ahead of this game?
I mean, it has to be Gyökeres, doesn't it? I mean, he's one of the best strikers in the division. The kind of signing that I could only sort of dream of with us, and I say that from the perspective of when you signed him from Brighton, not necessarily now, because obviously whatever you'd want for Gyökeres now would be. What, 15, 20 million at this point? Like, he's so good. But yeah, you obviously saw something in him when he was at Brighton. Because did he not come on loan to you first? And I feel like his goal tally it's not like it is now. But you obviously saw enough in him to say we'll get him in permanently, and we can develop this guy and maybe sell him on for more down the line.
Because when he first came in, Big Vic, on loan, I don't think many fans were having to go at him really because he didn't sort of set the world alight, did he, Claudio, when he first came?
No. I think Robbins just likes play. It seems to me that if a player comes in and is prepared to listen to the coaching staff, they'll stick with them, and I think that's what's happened. I think the ones who get moved on. There's one who went to Clark Harris, who they bombed out the club basically, didn't they? That's right. Bristol Rose. He just didn't want to. He wasn't towing the line, I think, from what I gather. But if they're prepared to work with them, he likes them. He wants them to develop players. And when Vic came in, it was a slow starter, wasn't he? And then when we signed him, I think we all went, "Oh, really?"
Yeah.
So.
But we haven't looked back, have we, since then?
No, that's why we talk about it. And Mark Robbins is the manager of the football
club. That's why he gets paid good money, because we're all great at picking teams, but he's the manager and he's got to decide. It's on his head, isn't it, at the end of the day? And he doesn't make many bad calls, does he? You can count them on one hand. Not very many, to be fair.
I got a comment. I got a comment, an interesting suggestion from Wes about Burrows centre midfield and Heyman a 10 role. Is that another option possibly? Heyman advancing forward.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't really seen. Burrows is a great player. He's a good player. He's a good prospect. Whether he's ready to start on a regular basis yet, I'm not sure. Maybe he needs a few more games under his belt. But yeah, it's a possibility. But it's good to have players like Burrows around that can play in various positions. Again, that's another option.
Yeah. Okay, I've got to ask a question now about predictions for this game for Tuesday night. So I'll start with Ollie. Ollie, Detailed Digest. What's your prediction for Tuesday's game?
Can't see it being a high scoring affair. We've gone 3 unbeaten now, and Lowe seems to think that the confidence is coming back. I think the fans are still waiting a little bit. I don't think a 2-1 win over Wigan is quite convincing everybody just yet. I'd probably say a 1-1 draw at this point. I think it'll be quite tight. 2 decent teams, like in the wider context of the Championship. But I seem to recall when we played you at home last season, it was a time where our manager was under quite a lot of pressure. You guys went 1-0 up, and then all of a sudden we scored 2 very quickly and somehow scabbed a win out of it. So a repeat performance of that wouldn't be bad.
No, but you're going 1-1. You sit on the fence. So you've obviously been listening to me quite a lot on sitting on the fence. Ken, what's your view?
I think we're going to win. I do. Although I thought that last year when we were winning 1-0 and we lost 2-1. So things can change, as you know. I think we're going to go there, and I think we're going to keep another clean sheet. I think we're going to win 2-0. I'm going for 2-0, Mark.
2-0, good stuff. Claudia?
Right. Yeah. This is Coventry we're talking about, aren't we? I would, on current form, we've got 3. Can they win 4 in a row?
Yes.
Yeah, well, they can, yeah. There's not often, but it can. So I'm going to go for possibly a sneaky 1-0. But it wouldn't surprise me if we get turned over 3-0. That's just where I am, though, because that's how daft the Championship is. I mean, I know you're shaking your head there, Ollie, but I'd like to think the lads at the back are going to keep it tight. So, I mean, if we come away with 1-0, fantastic. If we come away with just a draw, that's still a decent, to be honest. But it'd be nice to get the 1-0 and just get rid of that jinx, basically. Just you can stop talking about it.
Yeah. I think we're going to win this game 1-0 for this one. I think it'll be a tight game. I don't see a lot in it, but I think the reason we just need a bit of confidence is our defence and goalkeeper. I feel we've got a much stronger defence with McNally, Fads, and Callum Doyle at the back. I feel we've got one of the best defence in the league. So I don't see why we can't go to Preston and get a result. To be honest, we've got 1-3 on the bounce. We're playing with a lot of confidence. We shouldn't fear any team this league, and I fancy Gyökeres to sneak a late one. It kind of gives you that vibe of the Bristol City away game last season, where I think we won 1-0. I think with Gyökeres scoring. So I feel we can win this game, get to 51 points, and bearing in mind Luton and Millwall playing each other on the Tuesday night as well. So one of those teams, or maybe both teams, will drop points. We're that close to the gap, so it's a massive game. We've got to end this hoodoo. So I'm gonna hang my hat on a 1-0 win. So.
Oh, you're not sitting on the fence, then, are you? Not for a change.
No, I'm not on drugs or anything like that.
Glenn actually says Mark will sit on the fence. Splinters.
Well, he's been proven wrong, hasn't he? So
yeah. Well, there you go.
I did say that we'd win 1-0 against Sunderland, and I was proven right. Not the score, but with the win. So I'm gonna back myself and say we'll win this one. But I think it'll be a harder game than what people think, because I know what Wally's saying about Preston and the sort of the off-field issues, and they've not been playing as well. But we've got to take advantage of that, and I think we can do. But Casey Palmer's a blow. I mean, that's the only thing I would say. Yeah, that's the thing I'm slightly concerned about. But I think we've got. I think as long as Gyökeres stays fit, we've got a real good chance, personally. So
yeah. Just a couple of comments with the scores. Paul Webby, good evening, Webby. 2-1 Carv. Mark Cunningham 3-1 City. Mick Davenport 1-0 City. So we're all going for wins. Simon Wells 3-0 Vic hat-trick.
Well,
and then Mick Davenport reckons you've jinxed us, Mark.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily, because I think I did on another show, Sunderland show, that it would be 1-0 Coventry, and I was proven right. So I've not jinxed it.
Yeah, so just more mix-ups. He thinks Mark's voodoo as well. A draw isn't a bad result if we get some on Saturday, which is you're right there. Aim has to be get some from each next 5 games, keeps us in the playoff hunt. That's what we've got to aim for, I think. To be fair, yeah.
Cool.
Glenn also be happy with a point. Think of win by 2 goals. So they're all quite positive comments. I think.
Yeah. So what did Ollie say? Sorry, what was your prediction, Ollie?
1-1.
1-1.
1-1. Okay.
It's funny because we had a Millwall when we played Millwall, and the guy from Millwall was on. They were so cocky, wasn't he, and confident. And he said, "Oh, we're going to win it 3-0, 3-0, 4-0, 3-1, 4-1, 3-0." Yeah. And they were absolutely rubbish, weren't they, on the night? And we beat.
They didn't impress me, to be fair.
No, I know, and I thought, oh, yeah. So I'm being cautious.
Yeah. I'm always cautious as well, but I think we can win this game.
Well, Wes reckons 4-0 hat-trick.
I wouldn't go as far as that.
I'm not too sure about 4. Robert reckons 2-0. So they're all positive, to be fair. Kyle 1-1, who's agreeing with you. So there you go. It's quite a few. Will be my first visit to Preston North End. Cov 2-0 win, said Mark Harrington. What sort of crowd you been getting there, Ollie? What the crowd's been like?
We had sort of like an unprecedented season ticket sale. They had like good offers on, and there was like a big campaign from the fans to get more season tickets sold. I think in the end we sold like 15,000 season tickets, but I think the recent form means we will not be getting that.
Yeah. Be interesting to see. I don't know how many tickets we've sold, but we normally take a good following, to be fair, away from home. He's on a Tuesday night, so I'd anticipate probably about 1,500, maybe a few more. I don't know.
I think both teams should be able to relax and play decent football, because, as far as I'm aware, really, neither's going to get relegated. We're both safe. I think 2006 was the last time anybody needed more than 50 points to stay up, and that was Leicester when they went down to League One. I think both teams can just, try and play football. It could be a decent game, actually.
Yeah, I mean, Glenn says, shows what a tight league it is currently. If Preston win on Tuesday, they could be like 5 points off the playoffs.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, it is a tight league.
There's such a thin line between a few points between we're going to get into the playoffs versus have we got enough points to stay up. It's kind of that. There's only a few weeks ago we were all saying, or I might have been saying, how many points do we need to stay up? But now after like a few wins, it's like, can we get in the playoffs? And that just shows how quickly a few wins can sort of alter the mood of the support, isn't it? So,
and there's definitely 8 teams worse than Coventry and Preston in that division.
Without a doubt.
I'm bigging you up here, Ollie. You're all right.
He's trying to make you feel better, which is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, sort of start to wrap up the show. Ollie, thanks for coming on tonight. It's been really good to have your thoughts, and after this game, good luck for the rest of the season. Yeah, good luck, Ollie, after Tuesday.
Cheers. Yeah, same to you. I think most people like the sort of away day at Preston, don't they? It seems to be one that a lot of Championship away fans kind of enjoy.
Yeah, I prefer if it's on a Saturday though, rather than be a weekend rather than a Tuesday night. Yeah. Oh yeah. So it's a shame it's not a Saturday, because we could spend a weekend in Blackpool maybe.
Oh, I wouldn't wish that on the worst enemy.
Cheers, Ollie, and speak to you soon.
Yeah, no worries. See you later,
Cheers,
guys.
Ollie. Cheers, bye.
Thanks, mate. Bye.
Is it foggy up north? It was a bit foggy, wasn't it? Now the screen looked foggy to me.
Well, he looked very foggy. I don't know. He was inside, wasn't he? I think.
Just foggy up north.
We've got a competition. I'm just going to.
You talk about competition. Yeah, go on.
Let's just talk about this competition we've got going, and we're going to draw it next Thursday, when Miles will be in the chair next Thursday evening. You've got a chance of winning some tickets to this event here on the screen. It's a two-tone brewery brunch with bottomless drinks. Special guest Trevor Evans, the Lloyd McGrath Collective, and more to be announced soon. All you have to do is email. It's got to be email, please. No other way. You've got to do it by email. What was the special's first #1 hit single in the UK? Please email us at Sky Fans info at skybluefanstv.co.uk, please. And you can win 2 tickets. If you're not unlucky enough not to get 2 tickets, you don't win in the competition, you can still purchase your tickets from this QR code. If you scan the QR code on the screen, that will take you straight to a site where you can book your tickets. So it's a great night. It starts at 1 o'clock at Dillon's Brewery, and it finishes at 6. So if you wish to purchase tickets, you can just scan on the QR code there. If you're not lucky enough to win in the competition. So there you go.
Last one I want to speak about yesterday's Family Zone event. It was pretty well done, wasn't it, April?
It was fantastic. There we are in the Family Zone with our pictures. It was absolutely fantastic. It was a fantastic day. And some of the pictures here that we took on the day. These are a couple of our winners. We had a competition, player quiz competition, where the kids had to guess the pictures on the sheet, which was done. Thank you very much, William Cadden, for doing that for us. He set up the quiz for us, and these are the ones that correctly guessed all the players correctly. And we gave 6 mugs, special family edition mugs away. That's one of our winners. There's another winner there, and we've got a few more winners as well, which we've got to post. They're the 2 that collected the prizes on the day, and we also got a few that we've got to post them out to. So it was a fabulous day, wasn't it, Mark? And it was really busy, wasn't it? Really busy day. Kept us on our toes.
Yeah,
I normally pop down and have a look, but I didn't yesterday. We got as far as the grill shed and had a burger. Didn't get any further.
Yeah.
I was on the way down. I thought, I'll have something to eat. I'm going to pop down and have a look.
A little video of the fan zone. Well, I don't know. Stay there if you want. Match day fan zone. Family zone. Hi.
Morning.
Who's dug out, Joel? Hide your face. Probably Sam's over there giving us a wave. Programs. Cool. Table football. Can't be bad. Doors are not open yet. Just getting ready for the doors to open. Sweets and Chris. Look at these players there. Here where we give away all the pop and crisps and stuff on the day free of charge as a part of our sponsorship deal on the day. So it's a fantastic day all round, and thanks to everybody who was there, Mark, Miles, William, Glenn, who come and give us a hand as well, who gave us all a hand on the day. It was brilliant, and it was well deserved and well organised. Well organised day, I thought, Mark, wasn't it?
it was brilliant. Yeah, no, it was really good. It was good to see lots of smiling faces before the game, obviously after the game. So it was really good. And yeah, thanks to yourself, Ken, and Glenn must mention Glenn as well. Came and helped out.
Yeah,
as well.
Glenn came and give the hand. Yeah, it was really,
so,
really busy day as well because we had queues as well. We gave a lot of stuff. All the stuff went basically at the end of the day. We didn't have anything left, and it was really good, really good. And
must also
hopefully, and hopefully we'll do it again probably later on in the season before the season ends. We might do another one. Yeah,
and also I think that the work that that Pat and Lynn do as well.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Just one of the best fans you can ask for. The commitment, and dedication they put to it is unbelievable. So I think they also deserve a huge amount of credit, and not just them, but everyone else behind the scenes as well. We're fantastic. Hopefully, as you say, we can do it again. Maybe later in the season or next season. But yeah, it's we enjoyed it. It was really good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was fantastic. We had some comments as well. Good work, guys. Great to support the family zone, says Glenn. Well done, boys. Top support. So yeah, people do recognise Robert as well. Well done on the family zone event, guys. Fantastic. So, by the way, this is a reminder, Glenn. Thank you for reminding us this. Good luck to everybody tomorrow in the scramble for Blackpool tickets, Claudio. You'll be going, won't you?
I don't think I'll get a look in.
Well, it depends on the points. Depends on the point system, doesn't it? If you're lucky enough to get your points. I think they go on sale, if I'm right, about 10 o'clock in the morning, I believe. So yeah, hopefully.
It's just a shame,
great show, guys. Thank you, Mick.
It's just a shame we don't get the allocation that we give to other clubs, basically.
Well, yeah, I think the initial allocation for Blackpool, from what I remember, is about 1,800 initially, but we will eventually. They will give us 3,000, I think, because we have all along the side there in Blackpool. I know Sheffield. I think one of the Sheffield United or Watford or one of them. They had 3,000 tickets along the side, so there's no reason why they can't give us 3,000 tickets, really.
I mean, the best part of Blackpool was when their fans were boycotting, and you could have the whole stand.
I was about to say because they don't fill their end, do they? Really?
No,
I don't think it'll be a full house from their point of view, but I know we'll sell our allocation, no problem. But
I can remember years ago. This is going back a bit. We were playing Walsall away. We'd won our first 3 games. And we were playing Walsall, and James Maddison did his ankle in after about 2 or 3 minutes in that match and came off.
Yeah.
And there was no tickets available, and I basically joined the Walsall fan supporters group or something.
Did you? Oh my goodness!
Just to get 2 tickets or 3 tickets, and they never arrived. I thought this is a bit odd, so I rang Walsall, says, "Look, I should have 3 tickets come in," and they went, "Oh yeah. Who do you support?" So we were looking at your address. I went, "Oh, Coventry City." I went, "Right then. Right, we're going to give you 3 tickets, but not in the home end." I thought, which is quite good because we were sold out.
Oh, okay.
Only then to find out that where I would have been sitting, they gave us tickets for down the side bit. Because if you remember, we had all behind the goal and
then we had a little bit at the side, didn't we?
There was more of us than them there. We bloody lost. Yeah. Anyway, Jacob Murphy scored a cracking free kick that day. But
that's right.
I mean, I've done that before. I've done it for a few games where I've joined their, pretended to be a fan of the opposition, obviously, and managed to get the tickets in the home end. And eventually, you get them swapped if you play your cards right. But
sometimes you got to do that, haven't you?
Yeah, I just thought, I can't believe I can't get a ticket. It's ridiculous.
Well, everybody's going. Whoever's going on Tuesday night, I'm sure Miles will be there, and he'll be doing his pre-match, talking to fans and that before the match. Probably about half an hour, 45 minutes before the game, he'll be live on air.
What time they're leaving, Ken?
I'm not sure what time the coach is leaving, to be fair, but I presume it's going to be about 4-ish, 3:30, I presume.
Not a great journey, is it, that one?
No, it's a bit of, especially going up the M6. I don't, it's a bit of a trek, isn't it? So I would say about 4 o'clock, knowing the tavern, probably about 4 o'clock. So they like to be there as early as possible. So they like to be aimed to be there for a midweek game. They like to be there for about 6-ish, 6:15.
I tell you what's good as well now is the fact that the CC have gone. Is that you don't get the chat anymore, do you? It's a lot more positive. There's a positive feel around the club. It's even when you go on, it's great. It's a lot better. I think it's like one less thing to worry about, isn't it? Yeah, basically, all we now just got to make sure we get the deal for the ground and I don't know, a 20-year lease or something, at least something,
Yeah, and it's looking good. Things are looking good in the Dog so far. I mean, you've even got the training kit sponsored now by Coventry Building Society. You notice?
Yeah, that's good.
I think they'll be our main sponsors next year, personally, but we'll have to wait and see because Ball Sports will be finishing with their deal at the end of the year, I believe. So we'll have new sponsors. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's Cov Building Society.
They've got Hummel again for another 3 years.
Yeah, which is good. I'm glad about Hummel. Mark, are you pleased about Hummel, Mark? New kit, the Hummel deal?
Delighted, yeah. I think it's brilliant news. I think we all love the Hummel kits. I grew up. I think my first kit was the Granada Bingo kit in the late 80s. And,
so young.
88. Yeah. I know. I'm pleased I'm the youngest person in this chat. I feel quite good about that. But the point is that Hummel always produce really good kits, and I think it's better than like Nike and Lecoq Swarovski we had previously, and Pony we had in the 90s. And
what's nice is that we're a bit bespoke, our kits, because they do the standard, like the Everton kit is a standard Hummel shirt, isn't it? It's nothing fancy at all. And
ours
seems to be going overboard.
Yeah, ours we've got like that extra touch, isn't it? Our play up sky blues in the back and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and it's fantastic that they do that for us. And I believe they've already designed next year's kit already. That was in the pipeline. So I'm just glad it's going to go ahead now, and we're going to carry on with Hummel because I think they've been fantastic for us. And they've sorted a deal out, which is great. So. We're all looking forward to the new kits come out, which is we all look forward to that in the summer, don't we? The new kits, so we can wear them on holiday and stuff.
I think they design it by the November, don't they? So it's already,
they do, yeah. It's already been, So
I'd love a yellow away kit would be great, like 87, 88. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that might come back. The yellow one.
I did like the yellow one with sky blue trim. That looked quite cool, I think.
Yeah, I remember that. And then we had that yellow Brazilian one as well, didn't we? If I remember.
Yeah.
The Brazilian, sort of like Brazilian with different colour blue shorts. But Glenn reckons Stoke had about 3,200 tickets for Blackpool. So possibly right there. So there is an allocation. It is a big end along the side there at Blackpool. So hopefully we will get. Quite a lot of tickets, so don't forget. And Glenn also says, "What about Fraser's group? You notice the signs up on the ground with Fraser's outside and in.
Yeah,
it's interesting, isn't it? Maybe they're going to sponsor. You never know. Mark Ashley might put money into the club one way or another by sponsoring us. You don't know, do you?
They don't mess about, do they? With taking the signs down last weekend, that was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, they had them up.
And they put their signs up. They've done the seats as well, haven't they?
They have, yeah. That's got Fraser's. They got rid of the Wasps sign. Yeah. Just another last comment from Glenn. About season ticket prices, a rumour to be announced in the next couple of weeks. And from what Doug said in the London Sports Club, talks are ongoing with a new lease for CBS. So all the news is good. Hopefully the season ticket prices will be realistic. They might probably have to go up. We all expect them to go up a little bit, but all the news is good, isn't it, Mark? I think it's all looking rosy.
Yeah, no, I think Doug King has been very, very impressive in his start, and it's all looking good off the field. Let's hope we can deliver on the field this season and gets the playoffs, because I think we'd all take. Given the start of the season that we had, if someone said to me, "You've got 14 games to go, you're 5 points off a playoff spot," I think you'd be snatched out of both hands. So fair play, and keep up the good work to everyone.
Yeah. Just another comment from Kenneth Thomas before we go. He reckons King of Shaves or Yorkshire Tea will be sponsoring us. So there you go.
Long as it's not Bowl Sports, it's fine. So I was going to wrap up the show. Thanks, Claudia and Ken, for coming on tonight.
Pleasure.
Miles has got his show, so if you're going to Preston on Tuesday night, look out for Miles. We'll be doing the show, pre-match show. So if you're in the vicinity of the ground, then come and speak to us, and we'll get your view across ahead of the game. Then we've got a show on Thursday. Hopefully, we're talking about a win against Preston for once in a long time. And we'll be joined by, hopefully I'm joined by a Huddersfield fan. We've got Ben Dixon hopefully coming back on to talk about Huddersfield. So that's that. So yeah, there's plenty of shows to come up. Thanks guys for coming on, and thank you all for your comments tonight. Much appreciated. We really appreciate your support, and we look forward to speaking to you again on Tuesday. So going to wrap up. Good night everyone. Play up Sky Blues, and speak to you soon.
Play up Sky Blues. Good night.